Today I want to show you an effect that uses a lot of keyframes and makes kind of cool animation. We're going to start with an HTML5 canvas, and we're actually going to adjust the stage size. So if you click with your selection tool right on the stage, you'll see the properties for the stage. If you don't see them, it's probably showing you the properties for this blank keyframe, this frame up there. Just click on the stage and you'll see the properties for the stage. This is where you can set up your frame rate and your size. We're actually going to make this a small banner that has a greater width than height. So we're going to change the width to 300. We're going to change the height to 100. And then it looks pretty darn small, but you can actually pull up here and tell it to fit in window. We're also going to change the frame rate. Right now it's playing at 24 frames per second, and we're going to do a lot of keyframes. So I want to slow it down a little and change that 24 to 12 frames per second, so it'll go at half speed. If you'd like to change the color of your stage, you can do that here as well. Pick something that you think is beautiful, and there's your stage color. What pleases you is fine. But the next move is to find the type tool, the text tool, right there in the toolbar, and we're going to choose a font. Now for this one, I tend to like to choose things that look a little like handwriting, something that looks like perhaps someone has got a pen and they're writing it, because we're going to do this effect that makes it kind of look like someone is writing on the screen. So I'm going to pick, let's see, some of these are script. Those are kind of pretty. This is kind of, we'll do this one. And then pick a color here that's going to look good against your background. So if you have a black background, then you can't put black letters on it. It's not going to work. I'm going to put this kind of purplish color on there. Maybe that will be very pretty. Right now my size is set to 40 points. We'll see if that looks right. I'm just going to click and let go, and the cursor comes up. This is a quick thought I've got for you. If you click and let go and the cursor comes up, then no matter what you type, it'll keep going. It'll scroll, right? If you click and drag, you're creating a box that's finite, and it goes to the next line. So what you want to do is click and let go. Therefore, it does not go to the next line. And you write your first name. I'm going to write my first name. That's my first name. Do not write my first name. Write your own. To change the size, you can actually highlight it and then just drag this number back or forth or whichever direction you think is good. I'm going to drag it so it mostly fills the screen, and then use my black arrow selection tool to center it up a little better. Next, I need to break this all apart into pixels. Much like when we were in Photoshop and you could edit the type with the type tool, or you could rasterize it and edit it with an eraser, we are actually here going to turn this word into independent letters, and then turn those independent letters into separate pixels. So in order to do that, we have to go to Modify and Break Apart. Control B, you see that on the side there, is also an option. B is the key you'll hit at the same time as Control. They both do the same thing. Click on Break Apart, and it separates my name into the individual letters. If you go to Modify, Break Apart, or hit Control B, whichever one, a second time, it then turns it into the individual pixels. And you can see, actually, because it kind of looks grainy, right? That is how I know it's been broken all the way apart. You can see the pixels being illustrated there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of do the next piece backwards. So I've got an eraser tool on my toolbar. It's right there. And I actually need to expand my toolbar out so you can see it all, because my screen is smaller than yours. You can choose which kind of eraser you want right there. Big, little, I don't care. Easier with the big one though. So right now, got my name, broke it apart and then broke it apart again, picked out the eraser. I have one keyframe. I'm going to build another keyframe before I do anything. Second frame is a keyframe. And then I'm going to erase a little bit of the last letter of my name. At this point, I want to show you a trick. Instead of right-clicking and inserting a keyframe, you can actually hit the F6 key. If you look at the top row on your keyboard, you can hit the F6 key. So I'm going to do mine now, F6, and it just builds the keyframe for you. That's going to come in handy because you're going to need a whole lot of keyframes in this lesson. So I'm just going to make a keyframe, erase a little bit, make a keyframe, erase a little bit, make a keyframe, erase a little bit, until your entire name is gone. I'm going to go ahead and pause my video, and I'm going to get the rest of my name gone. I'm going to get almost to the end, and then I'll start the video back up so you can see the next pieces. So I'm almost done. I've made a bunch of keyframes, and now my name is entirely done. If I make another keyframe and there's nothing left, it should be a blank keyframe. I'm not sure what might be left here, so I think we're good. If I play this back, it's going to look kind of like my name is sort of eating itself, which is a really cool effect, but I want it to be even cooler. So what I'd like to do is flip it backwards, make it go in this order. Right? In order to flip it backwards and make it play the wrong direction, so my name looks like it's writing itself on the screen, I'm going to select the layer and go to Modify, and go to Timeline and tell it to reverse frames. When you do that, it looks like someone's writing your name. And this is a cool thing. Now we're going to save this. We're going to go to File, we're going to go to Save As, and you're going to put it in your folder. My folder's not coming up this morning. That's okay, I'll put it right here. And I'm going to call it Name. When I save that as Name, it's actually right there on my desktop now because I couldn't find my folder, sorry. That is an animate file. I also want to export it out in a way that's going to make it into other stuff. So if you go to File, Publish, it automatically does it. Well, what the heck did it do? It made me this JavaScript file, and it made me this little web browser thing that you can open. It's an HTML document. You can see it there. The JavaScript thing, I've got something to open it on here. I apologize. I've got nothing to open it with. But there it is. If you wanted to publish it out in different ways, you could go to Publish Settings, and you could tell it that you definitely want it to be other file types. I'm not going to get too hard into that right now. I just wanted you to see that that was an available option. So that's it. I want to see your names write themselves. Maybe you can pull it up in the browser window. That would be super neat. And that's it for that lesson.